Hello, hello. Hi, I'm Ethel. Welcome to my live. How did we get here? How did we get here? I want to talk to you all about something. So, yes, how did we get here? How did we get to the point of having a scarcity mentality? Scarcity. You know, how did we get to the point where we feel that, even I hear this from a lot of women, we feel that it's difficult to find men out there, even a man that will treat you even to the bare minimum. Scarcity mentality. How did we get here? You know, how did we get here to the point where if someone's treating you badly, let's say you're a woman and the man's treating you badly, you want to stay even from dating stage all the way to marriage. You want to stay there and receive that bad treatment, but you know it's abuse. But you want to stay there because you don't think you'll find someone else. Again, scarcity mentality. You think it's scarce to find a good man out there, right? All this, honestly speaking, is because of self-esteem issues, and it also falls under lack of boundaries. It falls under you don't want to be alone. But the truth is, honestly, this is me giving the truth fact. I have met women in their 40s, 50s, and they've married amazing men. These women focused on themselves, right? You know, adding value to the world, doing so much to the world, for the world. They've still, it doesn't matter their age. They've met amazing men that treat them really well, So let people project their insecurities on so many women in the sense of that scarcity mentality. So I want to talk about it today with you guys because my platform, I'm meant to encourage and inspire you all. Especially, I have 18 to 25-year-olds on here, right? And I get so many messages, and in my mind, you can't come on my platform and I won't, be honest and tell you where I stand, So what I want to do now is to explain how the whole low self-esteem and low confidence can come about, okay, in a psychological point of view, right? So one of the psychologists, Oleksiy Santanovsky, okay, Oleksiy Santanovsky says, and I'm going to quote what she said, right? And I quote, "The formation of self-esteem is influenced by childhood understanding one's desires and, of course, the achievement of the goals we set for ourselves in adulthood. If we succumb to societal expectations and general patterns, self-confidence may never come into our lives." Okay, so what does the psychologist mean? A lot of the time, the fear we project on ourselves, fear of being alone, is practically because we think that's what society wants from us. It's because from childhood, we've never formed that self-esteem. We think that if we don't end up with someone, we'll never end up with someone. And people project that fear on some people, and they end up making the wrong choices. So I'm just saying that there's no scarcity. There are decent men out there. There's no scarcity. Don't just have that low self-esteem and just start dating someone that treats you poorly. There's no scarcity out there. They're there, okay? They're there. I've seen it. So don't let someone project their fears on you. And my second point is, sadly, some women who struggle in relationships and either dating, for instance, the advice they get are from other women with low self-esteem. They'll tell them, "Oh, he beat you, stay there, he will change. You've been with him already 2 years. you must marry him or else you might not meet someone. Again, scarcity mindset. Scarcity. So it's like, where's all this coming from, guys? The thing is, if you tell somebody your boundaries, right, and they don't respect your boundaries, if you say, I don't like how you're yelling at me, I prefer we communicate in a healthy way, but the person would yell, scream, shout, beat you, they're not meeting your boundaries, they're not establishing what is needed. Okay, so you shouldn't be in that setting, because the person is just gonna get worse and worse, and they would think that you're accepting and tolerating that behavior. I look around, so many women lack boundaries, so many lack that high self-esteem because of fear, because A has said, oh my God, good men are difficult to get. Manage with the minimum, the one that's giving you bare minimum, doesn't even meet the bare minimum. Manage, I'll speak broken English, manage them. That's what they'll say, manage it. Because they're all the same. They are not all the same. I have seen with my eyes, women marry amazing men. I have seen it, okay? So if you're young and you're still in the dating stage, just say, these are my boundaries, this is how I want to be treated. But then obviously you also want to treat that person the same way. Again, that's self-esteem. We need to keep that going, because it's, how did we get here? When I see it, I'm amazed by just the lack of people knowing that they actually lack boundaries, and that if they actually put that in place, they will be treated better. I see it so much. Like, for instance, my husband is not helping with the kids. Have you told your husband he's not helping with the kids? The answer will be, oh, he's like that, he's like that. What do you mean he's like that? You've not communicated. You've accepted that behavior and you're struggling. You don't have time for your self-care. You don't have time to exercise. You don't have time to do what you need to do, but you've not communicated that, because you're just saying he's like that. What do you mean by that is how he is, right? That's you saying it's okay. And then you would look at yourself and say, oh, I wish, I have time for self-care. But you're not communicating that. There's a lot going on that I'm like, self-esteem and boundaries, people need to look into it, and actually that's where happiness comes from. You need to have confidence in yourself. That same psychologist, Oliski Santonovsky, I'll quote again, she talks about confidence, and she says, our confidence and healthy self-esteem begin to form in childhood when we start to discover ourselves, understand our desires, and express ourselves as we wish, without worrying about the opinion of adults, peers, and family members who impose limits. So what does she mean by this? There's an issue in childhood where people do not let children express themselves, right? So imagine you were growing up. You couldn't say, Mom, I don't like that fish. How are you going to grow up and tell somebody, a man, a woman, I don't like that? You're just going to be afraid, because you think if you say that, you're going to be punished. There's going to be consequences. A child expressing their needs and wants doesn't have to be needs and wants that you, the adult, will agree with, but then you advise the child that this isn't right. But you must allow the child to express themselves. If an auntie or uncle is coming to hug that child, right, and the child says, oh, I don't want to hug that uncle, let the child be. The child is establishing personal boundaries. When the child grows up and meets an adult and is forming relationships, and then let's say an example, woman-man relationship, like, and the man wants to have intimacy with the lady, this is in adulthood, the lady would have the strength to say no. But if she's never in childhood established personal boundaries, she's going to just say, this man says he wants this, let me give it to him, he will like me. Because in childhood, I was told anyone that wants to hug me, wants to do touch me, I must not talk, right? So that quotation from that psychologist is saying, let children express their needs and wants. If it's something that you do not agree with, you tell them why. Like a child will express their needs. I want to sleep at 11 p.m. You say, well, it's not really a need, it's a want, because 11 p.m., why would a child want to sleep at 11 p.m., right? 11 p.m., you would tell the child, you can't sleep at 11 p.m. If you wake up, you would have difficulties because you've not had enough sleep. You explain to the child why 11 p.m. sleeping is no good. You're a child, right? But if that child cannot even express their desires, like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, in adulthood, they'll have no boundaries. Everything, they want somebody to like them. They don't want to upset. They think if I say this to this person, they'll hate me. If I say that to that person, they'll hate me. If this man wants this and I don't give it to him, he will not love me, right? And then you, the child, when you become an adult, you would even be buying gifts for the man, buying this, and the man will not love you. And you'll be thinking, but I don't understand. Because you're trying to please, because in childhood, you could not tell your parents, I don't like this, I don't like that, because your parents were not letting you tell them that no. Or even if they say do this, you cannot express why you don't want to do it. Because you get, I don't know, beatings, or what will you get? Beatings or consequences, right? Like, as that example I said, of, let's say, a little girl whose uncle is gonna hug her, and she says, I don't want to hug uncle. And the mother will be like, you must hug uncle. Like, it's a personal boundary. You can't, personal. The child doesn't want, leave the child alone, right? That's how it should be. When the child grows up and someone wants to touch them, whether appropriately, inappropriately, they would make the decision. It's my decision. It's me. It's my physical space. I would hug you if I want. This is how boundaries are established. And the child would know, right, what is right and what isn't right. You know? So I am pleading with people, whether you have a child who's boy, girl, in their young age, let them show their wishes, okay, their needs and wants. Let them talk if they can talk. Ask them, okay, here's your food. How did you enjoy the food? Let them speak. Just because a child will say they didn't enjoy the food doesn't mean you're a bad cook, okay, or something. Don't scare the child for just speaking, because this is how, again, a child will, again, another example, the child will, because the child doesn't have that boundaries, anywhere they go, people will just dump things on them. Like, even in work, other people will bring their work to them and say, can you do my work for me? And because the child's never learned to say no, to say, I don't want to do it, guess what will happen? The child will take everyone's work and be doing the work, because the child will think, I need to do this for these people to like me. or else they don't like me. Because in childhood, she's never been able to say no and to be liked. Okay? So we need to let them speak, let them protect themselves. So when they grow up, nobody is going to come around them and start treating them badly. If whether male or female comes and behaves badly, inappropriately, they'll just say, this isn't how I want to be treated. I deserve better than this. Okay, I deserve better than this. You know, because I know how good treatment is, and I know that I can treat you good, so I deserve that. Immediately, they would have their boundaries, you know. And I'm telling you, right, even in dating, if a woman meets a man and says, this is the behavior I want, I don't want to be treated this way, that way, a lot of men actually listen. A lot listen. The issue is when a woman doesn't have boundaries and ends up in a relationship and doesn't open their mouth to talk, and the man just gets away with everything. He will still get away with everything because you're not speaking, you're not telling him, no, this isn't how I want to be treated. No, this, that. It doesn't mean it's an argument. It's a communication of standards. We call it standards, right? You have to have your standards. So just because you've communicated, that doesn't mean the man is actually going to leave you. A man who will leave you, whether you communicate your boundaries, you don't communicate your boundaries, he's going to leave you. So if so based on that, what I would say is write down your boundaries. What do you want in a partner, right? What do you want and what will you not tolerate? Okay? And communicate that. Even it should be even the beginning stages. The reason I'm saying this is because a lot of women are afraid. If I say this, I'm not saying say it in a nasty way. No. It's you. It's how you are, right? And the funny thing is, when you establish that, you'd actually find an amazing man who would actually abide by that. That's the thing. And a lot of people don't realize that. They have that scarcity mindset, so scarce, that they think, let me just manage. This is what the man is offering. Let me manage. Like, no, speak. And another issue that it is people are getting confused with the word submission. Submission, people are getting confused. It's not right. Submission is respecting each other. Respect the man, right? Submission does not mean if he's treating you badly, you accept it. There's a verse. I didn't get the verse, actually. The reason I'm bringing the Bible into this is because a lot of people use that submission from the Bible. That's what they're using to manipulate women, okay? They use that. The Bible talks somewhere. I'm going to find the verse and I'll find it. It does entail something along the lines of, this is what I remember: depart from evil. Depart. If someone's treating you that badly, that's evil. Depart. Go. Separate. Depart. So people are trying to use that submission, even in early stages, to accept toxicity. No, that's not. If you actually read things properly, you would understand to stand your grounds. And everyone has values, right? As I said, men and women. Find the person that you want to treat you that way. People are not the same. Just because a husband is giving less than bare minimum doesn't mean your own will give you less than bare minimum. Okay? Don't let societal pressures, age, all that just let you go and just make some decisions just because. Just because you want people to call you a missus. Don't. Because in future, you would look back and realize that decision you made was just something that you wish you could have had boundaries and said no. You would then realize it. I am telling you that I have seen women in 40s, 50s, 60s met amazing men, because there are men who are also older, who have the same values and are looking for someone who knows, number one, who they are, number two, what they stand for. Another thing I want to mention in this life that is very important is, as a woman, right? Even if you don't find somebody at the time you want, focus on yourself. Focus. The example I'm giving about women in their 40s, 50s, whatever, who've met amazing men, they were adding value to the world, okay? They were financially independent. They knew what they would not tolerate, right? And I don't want to mention their names. Some of them are on social media, but they have married amazing men. And I know those men because I've looked into them, okay? Do not succumb to pressure. If it's not happening and you're not meeting the man for you, focus on yourself. Focus. So I told you guys, I have yeah, 18 to 25-year-old followers as well, because I obviously I have older ones too, but I also have that age range, and I do get messages from them. And I'm saying I will not allow the next generation to have a low self-esteem and end up, in toxicity. I won't allow that, because if they're on my platform for a reason, right? So that's the young ones. And both male and females, they're all learning how to improve themselves, how to be better partners for each other, right? It's a mindset. It's a mindset. So if you're a woman and someone is putting that mindset in you of the scarcity mentality, oh, husbands are hard to find. This at least he bought you, I don't know, food. That's good. No man buys people food these days. What is that? If you're a woman who focused on herself, that little food that man is buying you, it's not going to make you, and if he's treating you badly, it's not going to make you stay, because you can take care of yourself. You're looking for someone that has integrity, kindness, love, responsible. That's another word, responsible. Very important, because there's so many people that do not understand that responsibility, And another thing, high value does not mean rich. People always think, high value, rich. You, the woman, if you've also focused on yourself, high value is kindness, is love, it's, again, responsibility. It's, let's communicate, let's be healthy in a relationship, let's have fun as husband and wife, let's make each other function well, mentally, physically, everything. That's high value. It's not money at all. People, yes, I get it. Life is hard. Life is tough. Money will make a difference. But if the person's abusing you and giving you money, your mind is going to be damaged. You can't even focus on anything. How do you focus on something? Yes, people say I'd rather cry in a Ferrari. But at the end of the day, if he leaves you, are you going to be able to sustain that lifestyle anyway? So that high value in terms of someone being a real husband, like someone being there, as I said, responsible, kind, all those things that will make you come out of your shell, supportive, make you shine, make you feel amazing. That's what you want, and that's what you need. So people always get all this high value and everything confused, okay? And as I said, another thing as well, most of the time, some women would not sit down and analyze, let's say, their dating history and say, okay, do I have boundary issue? Do I have self-esteem issue? I'll tell you something. I had boundary issue, right? I had boundary issue in the sense of, because I don't want that fight. I like healthy things. So I'm just like, oh, okay, this man, let me just, clean and cook all the time. And because I don't want drama. That's not life. You need to communicate like, look, we're here together. You're playing games. You can actually support me. Like, I've been doing everything. You can support me, communicate. But just because you're afraid of conflict, I was there, afraid of conflict, afraid of drama, just can't be bothered. You just deal with it. And guess what? Those people get worse. They get worse. They don't get better, because they just think, oh, she's accepted this. She'll accept another. She'll accept that. So speak up. Say, and in a loving way, I would love it if you could help me with this. I would love it if, we could be in a good partnership. This is how marriage should be. Marriage should be beautiful. Guys, it should be, every day is not roses. Healthy marriage, you can argue, but it should be to the point where that love is there. Not to the point where you feel the other person is not even trying for you, but you're the one doing everything. It's not one person. It's just not. And I keep hearing so much, and the thing is, it's just becoming too much to the point where I'm like, self-esteem, guys, when you start dating, self-esteem, be confident. Know that you shouldn't be treated that way, because if you accept that, it will continue and continue. Okay? And that's not how it should be. You shouldn't allow things that you know is detrimental, you know? And again, scarcity. Men are not scarce, women are not scarce. Do you understand what I mean? Men are there, women are there. Every time I go to a function, there are men like, oh, are you single? Are you single? And I'm just like, they're there. It's about like, okay, who meets my qualities, what I want. It's not about like they're not there. How are they not there? Go outside, go to an event, just go to a party. They're there, you know? So don't let people scare you with this scarcity mindset. Oh, you're getting old. Won't you settle down? That man over there, do you even know the man? You don't know how he's going to treat you. You don't know if you have kids. Like, just because, as I said, you remember I just quoted that psychologist, and she said that, you know, one of her, it's about we just like to succumb to social pressures. And that's what has caused a lot of people problems, succumbing to social pressures. And then when the issues start, those people you were trying to please, where are they? When the issues start, those people you were trying to act all like, oh, I'm a wife now, I'm a this, where are they? You know, focus on yourself. If it's not happening, focus on yourself. Be that amazing woman you can be. Be that person that don't look and say, wow. Let me tell you something. Now, when I go out and someone knows me, they'll always laugh and say, Ethel, that motivational lady. Ethel, what motivation are we getting today? And I'm now known for that. Is that so bad? No, it's not so bad. My point is, don't just keep, because it's not happening, don't just keep thinking, oh, Mrs., I need to be Mrs. No, work on yourself. It will happen. It will happen. You want it to happen, and the person will be a life partner. Like, yes, they'll be your husband, but a life partner where you know, yes, you know, he understands me and I understand him. You know what I mean? So, I don't want to hear any more low self-esteem issues, because it's been, and as I said, everybody should sit down and look within them. Like, am I lacking boundaries? Am I just doing things to avoid confrontation? Am I just doing things so that someone doesn't, you know, so that someone doesn't stop loving me? The funny thing is, even if you have your boundaries, someone who loves you will still love you. And if you have it, and basically someone will love you anyway, right? But if you don't have boundaries, that's their chance to cross it, to add more bad things to you, to do more because you're lacking it, to just keep going, you know? To keep going because you've allowed them. Why should they stop? It's benefiting them, and you're suffering, you're struggling, you know? So it gets to a point where it's just, you need to advise yourself. Just like sit down and think. This is why I always say improving yourself doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. No, it means that you're doing something to actually benefit your future, so that when you eventually select the person you're gonna have kids with, have a life with, you know that that's the person that respects you and you respect them. Self-respect, both men and women as well. Men too would want, men too would want women who are elevating, who would bring something positive to them, and women too would want that. So it's not just about someone that, you know, you just see you and just say you want someone just comes to say, I want to marry you, but they are not the right, like they, you know, they're just a horrible person, but you just think, oh, I'm aging. No, don't. I would advise you not to, because when you eventually find that one, you would say, wow, I'm glad I waited. Okay, it's worth it. You know, it's worth it. So that's why I talk about self-esteem and boundaries so much, because The stories I'm hearing, and I'm telling you, like, people actually tell me these things, and they don't, obviously, I try to make people anonymous, but, like, they do tell me these things, and I'm, or someone will say, he's treating me badly, but what can I do? What can I do? What do you mean, what can you do? What do you mean, what can you do? Okay, don't do anything. He'll just triple the bad behavior. He'll triple it and you'll be in pain. That's how it works, isn't it? So don't say, what can I do? Have you not speak? Again, as I said, sometimes from childhood, you think that if you speak, you get punished. So even if it's small speaking, like, Mom, can I have this? You don't want to say as a child, because you're like, oh, mommy would not like it. So you grow up and someone comes to do something, you just like, let me just let it slide. Let me just leave it because I don't want drama. It's all, so that's what I'm saying. If you have a child as well, raise them to talk. Let them talk. Let them say, and I'll give you another example. I remember growing up, there was a girl that they used to call rebellious. When I say rebellious, do you know what I mean? Because she would always say, no, I don't want this person to do this. No, and I don't want that person to do that. No. And people were like, this girl, the way she is, we don't know how she'll end up. She married an amazing man. Because she's like, nope, you cannot treat me that way. Because I've told you this is what my standards are. I've said my boundaries are this, that. Because she started it from childhood. And people thought, this girl is disrespectful. Oh, look at how she's standing for herself. Child, you want to talk as a child. She grew up. Good job, amazing husband, partner. And some people still see her because she's so like, this is how I want to be treated. Some people will see her and say, we don't know how some people will see her and say, we don't know how she managed to land this amazing man. Look at her. Look at how she always just says, even though she's not rude in that way. She just tells you, these are my standards. So people think, look at how she just says what she likes, doesn't like, and she ended up with this amazing man. And then some people say, and we have all these church submissive girls still waiting for husband. And look at this woman. Do you see my point? Speak. Like, if you don't speak, I'm not giving bad advice here. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying let your children be disrespectful. No, I'm just saying let them talk. Let them start from a young age. Space, like their physical boundaries, their spiritual boundaries. When I say spiritual, if they're Christians, Muslim, whatever, let them learn that as well, right? Let them know boundaries in each bit, right? Let them also talk. Because also remember, when they can speak, everywhere they go, school, work, everywhere. In work too, they can build relationships. They'll know, even though they speak, they'll learn emotional intelligence too. Someone who speaks can still have emotional intelligence. They'll learn all that because they like to speak. And don't forget leadership roles. Though they'll easily end up in leadership roles because leaders want to take on things, but they know their boundaries as well, and they want to work hard, and they know how to talk to stakeholders, different type of people. Confidence. To be a leader too, you need that confidence. Though they adapt all that as a child. Keeping your child mute and shy, it's not the way. It doesn't work well in the life. They can still be respectful. They can still talk to an adult and be respectful, this is that, but let them speak. Another reason I'm saying let them speak is because as a child, if something happens to your child, you want them to come to you. You need your child to come to you. You don't want them to keep quiet because they are afraid. Do you know how many horror stories where things have happened to children and they can't talk to their parents? And later on, their parents would say, oh my God, why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you come to me? Let them start, talking at a young age. They'll come to you. Okay, they'll come to you with open arms. You know, that's what I wanted to talk about. You know, I'm not saying let your kids be disrespectful. That's not, don't misquote me, guys. I'm just saying let them build confidence, self-esteem, boundaries, all those things. So when they grow up, they know that I'm never going to be alone. I'm awesome. Do you know what I mean? Not just to be desperate just for anybody for the sake of it, because they are afraid to be alone. Right? That's not how it should be. You know? This is why for me personally, I like psychology, because it's the study of the human behavior, the human mind, how it's a lot of research. They don't just talk the talk. It's research, things they've put together, analyzed kids, adults, everything, right? And they've come up with this is what they think, right? Sometimes it's theory, but it makes sense to me. That's why for me, I learned a lot, because it works, it makes sense to me. So, you know, I'm like, I need to encourage people to build their self-confidence, build their self-esteem. It will make you happy. It will give you inner peace, joy. You know, that joy will be there, whether you have somebody or you don't have somebody. Okay, guys, it will be there. You will be happy. But one advice for, you know, just try and elevate yourself. Elevate yourself. No matter what it is, if you're someone that wants a partner, you will find the partner. But in the meantime, focus on how can I better myself. Okay? I feel like I've been talking. I'm going to say hi to you guys now. All right, so oh, hi Pius, hi Karina, hi Letitia, oh hi again, yeah, Mr. Oibo. Ethel the great educator, thank you guys, thanks Letitia. Oh Jay, thank you. Ronaldo Johnson, okay, thank you. Right, Letitia. Oh, Nawimbem, thank you. Oh, let me read your good evening. Okay, I'll read that later. You're right, standards must be there. Boundaries are very important. Exactly, boundaries. Do you know what I'll do? I'm going to actually do a video another time on how to set boundaries the right way, because I think some people don't know how to set it. Some people think boundaries mean you should be angry, like, no. I don't want that. No, that's not what we mean. So I'm going to do another video to show you how to actually set boundaries correctly in a way that the person will respect you, but you're not losing your sanity. Do you know what I mean? You're able to communicate in a way that it's yourself. You know, just for them to understand. You can still be kind when communicating boundaries. You don't have to be nasty. So I'll do that just to talk more about different things, different solutions. Boundaries for me is very important because a lot of people lack it. It's very important. It would, as I said, it would make you happier. I know that for sure. It will make you happier. So this knowledge is powerful. I'll take it personal. Oh, thank you. That's good. Not at all. Thank you. Oh, Ronaldo Johnson. I just realized that I'm a yes man. And it's all dates back from my childhood. I was not allowed to say no. Oh my goodness. Thanks for the knowledge, my sister. Yeah, Ronaldo. Honestly, not being allowed to say no as a child is very damaging. Very, very damaging. It ruined many people. I mean, I know I was focusing on ladies saying, you know, they don't know, like, some don't know how to say no because of that. But men too. Men too. I've seen men that, well, society refers to as the nice guy. And they always say, the nice man finishes last. No matter the friend zone man. The one that women will treat badly like crap, and then they'll still be friend zone and do so much for the woman. Go and clean, cook for the woman, buy presents, and the woman will still not date them. Then Mr. Nice Guy, right? So they do exist. And it's also because you can't say no, and you don't know how to build that confidence as well. right? It stems from childhood, definitely. So the solution to that is to now start saying no to things you don't want to do. And you know the funny thing, people will start saying, Ronaldo has changed though. Now he's there saying no. He's there saying I don't want the. Hey, look, what happened to him? Because they'll be used to taking advantage of people that are too nice. I call it too nice. There's a difference between kind and too nice. They're used to that. So when you stand up for yourself, it's like he's changed. As if the change is bad. The change is good. You're protecting yourself. You're actually saying this is my value. This is, this is how I want to be treated. Men too need to also say this is how I need to be treated. Because even though I was talking a lot about women, there are men as well, unfortunately, that because they couldn't say no, there are stronger women who just take advantage as well and just laugh about it. So also, everybody, boundaries is important. I'm not saying don't be kind. Just don't allow yourself to be doing things just because you're afraid, even though, if the person is horrible to you, mean, toxic, but you're just scared to be alone. Just don't do that. But that childhood of not being able to say no, it's so detrimental that people don't realize. And again, another thing, people misquote the Bible, spare the rod and spare the child. Is that it? Again, misquoting a lot of the time. It doesn't mean beat the child for everything. Let the child speak. If the child isn't rude to you and say, Mom, I prefer this food over that food, you can explain, we don't have money. That's why I'm giving you this food. It's not beating. You must have this food. What did the child do by expressing their feelings that they don't want that food? Did the child offend you? Do you see my point? The child is just saying, taste-wise, Mom and hunger, I want this food. Just explain. The thing is, treat kids like you would want to be treated. Respect children. That's the thing people forget. They don't want to respect kids. Like, if the kid is communicating to you that they don't want this or they want something else, all you can do is just tell the kid that if it's financial reasons, talk. The children understand, People sometimes forget that kids are smart these days, especially moving on, the next generation kids. Oh, they are not, they're smart. So all you have to do is explain things. Yes, I know that some people will justify the beating of the kid or whatever. I know some people justify for serious offenses or whatever. But I'm just saying there are some things that you just need to talk to the kid. Let the kid be. Let the kid talk. Because everything you do when you have a child, it's for their future. It's for their future. Don't look at it as it's for you, the mother. No, or the father, or it's the child's future. You don't want the child to grow up with abandonment issues, neglect issues, and start having trauma over relationships, not knowing what's going on in the relationship, just not understanding things. Let's help the children build a better future. Do you get what I mean? So, but yeah, thank you so much, Ronaldo, for that. I appreciate that. But it is a sad situation that we put some people in when they are kids and they grow up with problems. But the sad thing is a lot of people don't know. That's the thing. They don't know, like, when they're raising kids like that the kid might have problems in the future. A lot of people don't know. So yeah. Letitia said love and support should not be one-sided. Thank you. Yes, and the behavior becomes worse. Exactly. Thank you for this amazing teaching. Thank you. Oh, Ronald, sure, I'll start saying no. Every day is a school day for real. It is a school day for real. I told you, I had to learn saying no to me. I had to learn. That's where all my learn. That's why I'm an avid reader. I won't pretend. I read like a lot because I enjoy it. I learn. Every day is a learning journey. Every single day. Because, it's all for our future, our kids' future, our own future. But yeah, thank you for that. Every day, learning. We never stop learning. Knowledge. When they say knowledge is power, we always think that people are just saying it, but actually it is. It really is. So thank you. And Letitia, and most of the time they mistake boundaries for pride or rudeness. Thank you. That's another thing. They mistake it for pride or rudeness. But you know what you can do about that? Develop the mindset of not everyone's gonna like me. That's what I learned. Develop the mindset of not everyone's gonna like me, and I'm okay with that. Because if you don't develop that mindset, and it would feel like just because they think you have pride or rude, or you're rude, it's like you would want them to like you, so you wouldn't have the boundaries, you wouldn't establish the boundaries. And then you'll be the one suffering. They'll be the one treating you badly, and you'll be the one suffering, you know? So that's what I mean. Just, yeah, pretend like I don't like. There's this saying, have you guys heard it? If everyone likes you in this world, you're doing something wrong. There's a saying. They said if everyone actually likes you, you're doing something wrong. It means that if you have boundaries, some people want to cross it. And those people who want to cross your boundaries because you're doing it to protect your personal space, whatever it is, your mind, your mental health, right? Those crossing it are controlling. They've not learned that your boundaries are something that you're telling them that, look, this is how I want to be treated. They don't understand that. So such people, yes, such people, you continue to create the boundaries with them. If they try to cross it, you keep giving them distance. You keep doing that. And when it gets too much to the point where they're causing you mental health problems, block them. Block them from your life. I know it sounds harsh, block them, because there are some people out there, for instance, you would tell them time and time again, consistently, that, for instance, the way you're insulting me, let's say insult, I don't like it. You know, when I say insult, like really horrible things someone might be saying to you, but they'll consistently do it. Horrible, like calling you names, you know, shaming you, insulting you consistently. And you'll be like, I don't like that. I don't like. And the person will still be doing, right? And you create that boundary. You just ignore the person. But the person will keep texting and keep doing that. Texting, trying to call you. What do? Block the person because they're causing you mental stress. You won't be able to function in your day-to-day life. And it will be because of them. Why should you be miserable because of someone's actions? Block them. No, seriously, block them. It will bring you so much joy and happiness. I'm telling you, it sounds extreme, but when people get that extreme with you, like basically, I always say start with boundaries, right? Tell them, communicate. I don't believe in, oh, just block. No, communicate. What you did, you've crossed my boundaries. I don't like it. I don't want, you know, you're being mean to me. This is that. And then they just continue. They're like, they'll be like, this man, this woman, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Oh, I can behave the way I want. Then they and it affects your mind, and they consistently do it. Block them. Just block them. And if they try to come to you from another avenue, you don't even mind them. Don't even engage, because you know why? Because you've told them time and time again you don't like that behavior. That's the problem. You tell someone you don't like a behavior and they continue. That's number one, disrespectful to you. Number two, your self-respect will be shattered. Your self-esteem will be shattered. You would think, but why is this person ignoring me? And then, as in ignoring what I'm saying, I don't like this person doing. And another problem that it will cause is you would start to think, maybe this is what I deserve. I just deserve people insulting me, people treating me badly, people abusing me, people psychologically, I don't know, manipulating me. You start to think that, and those are the kind of people you attract. You go out there and you start attracting them. Those same type of people, you know, you stop like engaging with healthy people because you would think you deserve that kind of treatment. So if you constantly communicate and they continue to do it, give them, I would say, just give a time, count them. Count, and you would know through your mental state that this is enough. You would know. you will just be like, enough of it's enough. Because the boundaries is obviously to create distance with the person initially, to give you peace of mind, that distance, and to let them respect you. That's why you start with that boundaries, to say, I don't like what you've done, right? But if they continue, they've crossed it. So it's like they'll continue to cross it and even triple that behavior. So that's when you block them. Block them from your life. It's how it's done. Or else they'll just continue that bad behavior. And the thing is, they won't see it because they're happy doing whatever. But you're the one struggling. You're the one in pain. You're the one that, you're stressing. The thing is, life is already stressful. We go to work, we come home, basically there are things in people's personal life that's already stressful, finances, a lot of things. Why should you allow someone who doesn't respect you to come and even behave badly towards you? That's like them piling unnecessary stress. You don't need that. You're trying to build yourself up, your finances, enjoy your life, this, that, and you let the person come and treat you badly on top of that. Why? Just because, I don't know, scarcity mentality. Maybe you don't think you have enough friends. You don't think somebody will love you. No, block them. If they get to that extreme, just block them. Because you meet people who would abide by your boundaries. And the funny thing is, when people abide by your boundaries, you abide by their boundaries. So you end up actually in a loving, whether it's friendship, relationship. Basically, you become friends that care about each other, and it's reciprocal. But when someone crosses your boundaries, it's not reciprocal. That's where the problem is. And when you then have a healthy friendship, it's beautiful. Just like if you have a healthy relationship, it's beautiful. So we can't let people come and, just stress us like that. We shouldn't do that. Let's not allow that, because that's why people will end up struggling to sleep. I'm telling you, because of someone. You have work the next day, you can't sleep because someone is causing you so much trauma. So much trauma, but you feel that you must have the person in your life. No, you should not have that person in your life. They don't deserve that. If someone does not want to respect you, they shouldn't, and you've created that boundaries and you're crossing it, block them. That's it. I agree with that. Just do it. And for your sanity. And trust me, you meet other people that will respect that boundaries. You meet them. And once you meet them, they'll respect you, you respect them. It's reciprocal. And another thing, don't let people manipulate you. When those toxic people, after you've created boundaries and they've breached it and you've blocked them, they'll try and manipulate you to say, but I was only joking. That's something you've been joking consistently, I don't know, hurting the person, maybe even beating the person. You're saying, I was joking. No, do not take that. They should go somewhere and seek help for that behavior. It's not your responsibility to allow them for that behavior. It's not you. That behavior is not you. You should not. You deserve peace because you know who you are and you know that that behavior is bad. They that are doing the bad behavior should know that they've got a problem. That's the thing. And funny enough, such people would disagree they have a problem. They'll disagree. So you leave them on their own. Leave them be. Just leave them. So yeah, just leave them. Yes, block. Very simple. I'm not joking. But I know some people be like, Eto's telling people to block people. But I've said boundaries first, then block. Because peace is important. Especially right now, me, the way I have a job that I need to concentrate, I don't need to go to work and I can't concentrate. You know what I mean? Just because someone's stressing my life, especially you communicate, and they're still behaving badly. Block. We don't need that. As I said, people have other things in their lives. Some are struggling to pay bills, finances, difficulty, things that they're struggling with. And you should just allow someone to give you sleepless nights for what? Why? You know what I mean? So yeah, block. Block. Even out, if someone comes to my inbox with a story like that, after boundaries, I'll say block the person. That person should not be in your life. They don't respect you. Someone does not respect you, they shouldn't be in your life. That's it. Simple. Simple. When I'm talking about toxicity, that includes beating, abuse, psychological manipulation. There's a lot of things. And now I'm saying it's both men and women actually, so I'll clarify that as well, that it happens. And it can happen in friendship as well as marriages and relationships. So even friends, there are some people that will stress your life that you can't sleep. And you speak and speak and speak and it goes one ear. Even what am I talking about? Even ex-family. Even family too. Some can stress others to the point where they cannot even, they speak and speak, but then they have entitlement mentality. Some people feel entitled to behave very badly towards you. You speak and speak and speak consistently, they don't listen. Entitlement. As if you're forced to communicate with them. Nobody should be that entitled to make you have sleepless nights, to cause you depression, to cause you anxiety, to cause you to the point where you go to work and cannot focus. No, you don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. You know what I mean? So yes, when it gets to that point, block. Because it gets to that point, because mental health is important. And as I said, we already have challenges in our lives. Why should we allow people to come and, increase those type of difficulties for us? It's not worth it, guys. It's just not. Letitia, he said, and they always say that's not what they mean. Even when they do something bad, they make you feel like you overreacted. Exactly. Oh, by the way, what you've just written is called gaslighting. It's a psychological term. They make you think that what you were seeing, hearing, and everything, it's not right. As in, you were making it up. That's called gaslighting. You guys can read about gaslighting. Yeah, they manipulate you to say, but I didn't do that. I was just joking. It's you that you have the problem. But the issue is, it's about how you feel. You feel disrespected. You feel insulted. It's you. And you are the one communicating to them. They cannot tell you how you feel. That's the mistake people make. If you feel offended and you tell someone, look, I'm offended, that person, cannot tell you that you shouldn't be offended. That's gaslighting. They should rather say, oh, I didn't realize that would offend you. I'm so sorry. And stop that behavior. That's how it should be, because you are the one that is affecting. You're the one that mentally you're struggling. Everything you're struggling. So they should know that their behavior has affected you. So if they tried, oh, I didn't mean it. No. Such a person, immediately boundaries to the point where you don't even engage with them. And if they come back again and you feel like mentally you're struggling, block them from your life. Because such people, what they'll do is they'll cause you so much. There's a word, they'll trigger you. When I say trigger, they'll make you feel, anytime you see them, your heart will start to beat. Like, oh my God, are they going to do this to me? Oh my God. And if they even text you, you start to panic. They'll be triggering you. So such people, you're protecting yourself. Don't feel bad for them. Block them. Because at the end of the day, you need to look out for your own mental health and your own sanity. It's not them. It's you. You need to protect yourself. So all this, at the end of the day, it's not being mean. It's because most of the time we try to be so nice to people that it's at our detriment and they behave so badly. And you just accept it because you think, oh, I don't, you give excuses upon excuses, oh, maybe that person, oh, they were having a bad day. How many times can someone have a bad day? Guys, 20 times before you start to realize that this person just doesn't like me. And the funny thing is, sometimes those people that are very horrible to you, right? they'll go and be very nice to someone else. And when you go and you say to someone, this person has always been horrible to me, they'll be like, really? No, not this person. He's a nice person. And then you look like, like you're going crazy and mental. But really, it's how you feel. And you know what? Sometimes people choose who they treat badly. So again, people who lack boundaries can easily be treated badly. And people who have boundaries, right, and tell someone their boundaries, then the person will start to respect the boundaries and treat them better. So that same person will treat someone badly and go and treat someone better. Do you see what I mean? That same person will treat someone badly because of boundaries, because the person's not speaking. It's not speaking, Yes, that's true. This year, no bad energy. We're not having it. We're trying to elevate ourselves. We're trying to financially elevate. We're trying to improve people's lives in the sense of knowledge. We're trying to do good for the world. We don't want bad energy. We don't want things to stress us. Life can be happy. But as I said, there are natural stresses that already happen anyway. So why do you want someone else that's bringing intentional stress? I call it intentional stress. Because they're intentionally being horrible to you, intentionally, because you've established boundaries and they're still doing it. They don't respect you. Let them go. They don't respect you. Ronaldo, at school, I was bullied and I couldn't defend myself or report the bullies at home or to my teachers. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, in regards to that, again, if at home you were close to your parents, right, and you were able to tell your parents that, how you were always feeling, and you were able to say no to your parents. When you were being bullied, you could have gone to your parents and said that, okay, mom or dad, I'm being bullied. But because you already said earlier, or you couldn't say no, how do you go to your parents? Some parents, if you go to them and say you're bullied, they'll beat you on top. They'll beat you and say, why are you bullied? Why didn't you stand up to the bullies? They'll beat you on top of it and say, you should have defended yourself. Why are you coming to me? Go back there and fight the boy or the girl. So because of that, a lot of kids who are bullied are even afraid to go. And the sad thing is, there's this thing I call toxic masculinity. If you're a boy and you're bullied, you're already afraid, like stereotypically, you're already afraid to go and tell your parents because your parents will think, but you're a boy. Why are you not? Go back and fight. And then they'll even beat you on top of it, like some parents would. So I understand why you wouldn't have even wanted to talk about bullying at home or to your teachers. Yeah, or to your teachers, because again, even sometimes the teachers don't do anything about it. Sometimes they don't. So, but the main solution of that would have been if you can talk to your parents. That's always the best solution, because parents are those that are supposed to stand up for you and walk up to that school and say, my kid is being bullied. My kid is being bullied and I'll not tolerate this. And worst case, they move you to another school. And also, they'll figure things out, what to do in that scenario. So if you can't talk to your parents, that's tough. How did you get through that? Like being bullied at school? Ronaldo, yeah, how did you get through that? I want to know, because obviously you're an adult now, so I want to know how you got through that. I was bullied mostly by girls, and I was afraid to be laughed at. Okay, that's the issue. Again, like I was saying, toxic masculinity, because you were a boy and you were bullied by girls, again, you're afraid. That example I gave, if you went home, you were probably afraid. If I tell my parents that it's girls bullying me, they'll say, but you're a boy, go back and fight them. When maybe you don't even want to fight because it doesn't even resolve the situation. And the issue with that is, when some parents say, go back and fight, imagine it's girls and you go back and you start beating them. In adulthood, you might think to resolve a crisis is to beat a woman. That's the problem. You might think it's to beat people. And then that's also how sometimes abusive people come about. When some parents will say, go and beat that person. They beat you, go and beat them. And then they're fighting. All the time is, don't let them beat you, go and beat them. So it becomes a solution. So people who are used to that can grow up, and abuse is normal. Like, this part, you offended me, you said this, I didn't like. Pam, you know, a dirty slap on your face. Because that's how they grew up. You know, that's how they grew up. So if you look at psychology as a whole, a lot of it is to do with growing up. A lot of it. Have you heard of some men, right, who abuse women, and they interview them and they say, I used to see my dad beat my mom. That's how I thought correcting a woman is. I need to beat her to correct her. Have you heard of that? I've seen, like, you know, obviously the society will be like, are you okay? Like, beating someone. But then they saw that to be normal. So if, again, you're bullied at school by girls and you're a boy, it's understandable because of toxic masculinity that you don't want to talk about it to people, to adults especially. Because especially when you're in an environment where that's just seen as a laughing matter, like you're laughing, you know. So again, it said in the ideal world would have been for you to be able to talk to your family, your parents, and they would be able to come, you know, and talk to the school. That's the ideal situation. And also get the girls' parents involved to say what the girls are doing is not right. You know what I mean? But you see, it's not happening because the idea is that a boy should not allow girls beat him in the first place. He should be able to defend himself in school. But again, as I said, if that's his way of coping, who says he's not going to be an adult and start beating women? That's where the problem is. The problem always lies from if we don't get it right at the beginning stage, at the developmental stage, at the children's stage. How do you expect the kids to grow up to function? They're not going to function properly. And that's where we need to look at the root cause. Like, this is why I always say that the next generation, I know they're going to be amazing because now there is a lot of education out there. There's a lot of people are understanding more, you know, because obviously now stereotypes are reducing as well because there's more education out there. So something like that, like we said, we shouldn't be laughing at boys, things, toxic masculinity, you know, things like that, because then they're forced to defend themselves. Then they want to be masculine. You know, a boy, I need to be strong. Why am I letting girls beat me? Then it becomes a habit that any girl that says something you don't like, you just end up hitting her. Then you grow up and then you're dating and the girl says something you don't like. Then it's, you know, it's a dirty slap because that's what you're used to. And at that point, sadly, you, the man hitting the woman, people would then never think about your childhood like, oh, in childhood he had to defend himself because his parents were like, go back and beat the girls. Do you know what I mean? People would never think about it that way, right? I'm not saying they should. They shouldn't. You know, as in, there's no excuse. If you become abusive as an adult, seek for help. Right? But I'm just saying that this is how we breed abusive people. This is how we bring them to be abusive. So if we don't look at how the kids are growing, how they're developing to make them become better adults, all this is going to continue. Unfortunately, all this is going to continue. And we'll always keep making noise about abuse. All this will continue. So we just have to obviously... Yes, parents do have a responsibility. They do. And I know it's hard. I know it's tough, but they do. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. I had fun talking about this. We'll do it again. We'll definitely do it again with topics. I want to focus. The childhood element is very important. So yeah, this is your girl Ethel. Let's elevate together. Oh, I'm amazing. Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye.